Hey, Coach, I saw Josh DeBerry had a tackle for a loss, and I just kind of got thinking about what is the role of the cornerbacks in run support, like on sweeps, jet sweeps? Just what are their tackling responsibilities?
Well, Josh had, I think, one of his best tackling days. I thought all our corners tackled really well. If you looked even on special teams, Elijah Jones had some big tackles. It depends where he's playing, Rich. If he's at the nickel position, sometimes he has an interior gap. Sometimes he has an exterior gap. So he might be the edge to the defense on some plays where if the ball gets outside, he has to set the edge and essentially be our force player. There's some times when he's, just playing corner where he just has to keep the ball inside of him. But when he gets in at nickel, I mean, he blitzes, he fills in the run support. Sometimes he's in the box like a linebacker. He's one of our toughest players physically and mentally on the team, in my opinion, and he's one of our better tacklers. So I think he had, I thought, his best tackling game. So I'm glad you noticed that.
We'll go next to Andy.
Jeff, I know you said you were excited to watch the film. What did you see so far? To me, I saw a lot of linebackers flying to the ball, a lot of pressure up front in the interior. What stuck out to you?
Defensively, we played harder and we played faster. We ran to the ball better. We tackled better. There was more hats to the football. Probably our best day tackling. I thought our interior D-line probably had their best day. I thought Chris Banks had his best game. I thought IGM and Vinny DePalma played really well. Cam Arnold took a step. We were physical and we played fast. We played confident. We played with good fundamentals and technique, and we got more back to who we are. We were penalty free for the most part on defense, which was, as you know, Andy, so important to me. But I still think there's so much room for improvement. And I know you probably think I'm just saying that because we gave up 3 points. The details of the execution, the alignments of some guys were off, and just the total finish for all 4 quarters. But there was enough plays I just showed the defense where if we don't clean up, we will not continue to play good enough on D to win. So a lot of good teaching moments. Fourth down, I mean, they were 1 of 4 on fourth down, 3 of 14 on third down. If you do those statistics, you're going to win games and be one of the best defenses in the country. Just relentless and resilient, but a lot of room for improvement.
We'll go next to Kevin.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's up, Kev?
So I'm just curious about the road trip in general. This was your first, true road trip of the year. And really your first true road trip under quote unquote normal circumstances as a coach. So I'm curious what that went like and if the routine was any different than last year.
No, I haven't even thought much about that, Kevin. No, I mean, we've been on planes. There was more people on the plane. Last year it was just us, but there's definitely more people on the plane. We're in a major city with people everywhere in the hotel. So, last year in COVID, I felt like we were the only people in the hotel. Besides that, not really much of a difference. You kind of get locked in and you stick together as a team and you eat and spend time together and enjoy the Friday nights together, hanging out. So not much of a difference. I really haven't thought about it like that, except for a lot more people around.
We'll go next to Emma.
Coach, so Temple really only had 2 chances in the red zone yesterday. One which, they converted to a field goal. The other one, you stopped them. But they made a couple bids to the red zone. They didn't quite get there. But can you talk about how your defense locked down once they're starting to get further down the field?
Yeah. Again, I think it just comes back to just being detailed. I thought it started up front with our front 7. I thought Tim and the staff did a really good job of taking away what Temple did best. And I think that's important to do as we move forward. I thought our guys knew the plan really well, and they just executed at a high level in key situations, which is really the thing. Those 3rd and 4th downs, once you get in the red zone, they tried the double move on Elijah on the right sideline. He played it with great eyes, where last week we played with really bad eyes. I think it was execution and a good sign for a young defense that, no matter where they get to on the field, that we have to defend every blade of grass and make teams earn everything. So I'm just proud of those guys.
We'll go next to Dan.
Coach, special teams wise yesterday, I know Travis had that big return at the start, and Grant obviously did a good job with punting. How much of that is sort of by design on a return with a wedge and versus Travis just having vision? And how does Grant kind of identify where he might want to punt it to? Or is that just a matter of how you might be able to draw it up? And and have them in certain situations?
Well, the kick, first of all, I mean, we need to give Coach Turn a ton of credit. I mean, our special teams right now got to be playing as well as anybody in the country. With 2 touchdowns last week on special teams and the way we flipped the field, the way we started the game with Travis's big return and then went down and scored a touchdown. I mean, the game was over, guys. That touchdown, I mean, we go up 7-0 and, we had the lead the rest of the game, and that was set up by special teams. I'm not going to get into the schematics of why we're returning, where we're returning. I mean, that can be an off-season conversation me and you can have, Dan, but I don't want to give too much into that right now. Then the other part is, I mean, Grant kicked the one with his heels on the goal line, and I think he kicked the ball to their 20. He had 2 huge punts that totally flipped the field. And Elijah Jones I think he had to run like 7. I was just joking with the team. I think he had to run like 70 yards to make that one tackle. And he did. And he made it immediately. And then he dove and made another one. People don't get enough credit for that. Those are game changing. Those take points away. Those give points. So a credit to the special teams. And then how about Connor coming in and hitting his PATs and great job by the special teams and Coach Turn, probably one of the most underrated coaches on the staff. I mean, he's incredible.
We'll go back to Andy.
Yeah, I want to ask about Connor. Putting him in there for the PATs, is that a move for him to kick field goals as well, or do you still want Danny in that position? And what was the mindset, I think, Connor going yesterday?
They're both in that. They're both still in that position. We wanted to get Connor some kicks and get his confidence up, and we felt like it was a good game and good opportunity for him to do so. And then we'll determine who will go out and kick the field goals. But Danny, he kicked the ball off great on kickoffs yesterday too. So I have confidence. We have confidence in both of them, Andy. And it's just a good game. We felt to get Connor rolling a little bit. He's got a bright future. He's talented.
We'll go back to Emma.
Coach, so on defense, you held them to 3 of 14 third down conversions. But then on the flip side, you guys only converted 2 of your 8 third downs. Can you talk about that, the difference between those two?
Yeah, it's kind of like what I talked about in the preseason. The position, what you do on second down is, again, a lot of times determine what you do on third down. We weren't good on second down yesterday, especially in the third quarter. We took too many negative plays, and we really got behind the sticks, and you put yourself in really bad situations. So on offense, you got to stay away from 3rd and 12 and 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 15. They're just really hard to convert. And we put ourselves in a lot of those situations, and, we can't do that. On defense, you try to generate TFLs on second down to get them behind the change, and then you have a better chance to convert. So that kind of goes hand in hand, if that makes any sense to Emma.
We'll go back to Rich.
To follow up on Emma's question there, was Dennis under duress a lot, especially in that second half? Was he rushing some passes? Was it coverage? Was it the line?
No, I know there was a couple of times when he got some pressure. But no, I think he had time. I think a couple of times, the throw might have been a little off. A couple of times he might have been under pressure. A couple of times they were in good coverage. But I thought our O-line did a pretty good job in protection yesterday.
We'll go back to Dan.
Coach, other side of the ball with your defensive line, I know there were times that you rushed 3 and still were able to harass the quarterback. Could you just talk about how they've been able to develop and gel over these first 3 weeks and just what they were able to accomplish?
Yeah. You just look at the amount of guys we're playing and the youth we're playing. I mean, without Booz and Valdez, we've asked a lot of guys to step up. Like I said, Chris Banks kind of stepped up yesterday. He's new to the scheme. TJ Ram was solid yesterday. Barlow was solid yesterday, returning guy. Sheeta played solid yesterday, returning guy. But then you got Tyus and Donovan and Nato. You got true freshmen really playing a lot, and they're getting better. And when you get injuries, even to Bisco, you got to play those guys, and you're seeing improvement. And I think that's going to help us out down the stretch. But as to why we're in 3 down, 4 down, just mixing it up down in distance. As I've said, we have a lot. We have a lot more defense in Dan, and truthfully, we haven't really used much of it, just because of how the games have went. So I think you'll start to see a lot more coming out as we get going now.
And we'll wrap things up today with Andy.
Kind of going off of that, you mentioned some of the true freshmen making an impact on defense. At what point do you have discussions about red shirts? I know the 4-game limit. Is that something you and the staff talk about leading up to this week? Is that something later on in the season you talk about? When do those discussions happen?
We that's a good question, Andy, because I mean I think we have over 10, probably 12 freshmen on our 2 deep. And we're probably playing like 6 or 7 in every game right now. We talk about it leading up to every game with the staff. So we have a plan. If we want to get the guys in, the way we look at it is if we believe a true freshman is going to help us win games this year, we're going to play him. I'm not just going to throw a guy in the fourth quarter to get 2 or 3 snaps and burn a red shirt. It's not fair to the kid, and it's not fair to the development of this program. Like I told you, I want to recruit high school players. I want to develop them. By the time they're seniors, I want them to be rolling and playing some of the best football in the ACC and in the country. So I'm not just going to throw guys out unless they're going to help us win games, and I mean multiple games. I'm not going to do that to a young kid, if that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
That'll wrap things up for today, everybody. We'll see you on Tuesday. Thank you.
All right, guys, have a great day. Appreciate y'all coming on.